two motorcycles, and hands down, the best motorcycles in the world. I'm sorry, anybody, any haters in there, you can go write something else, but we know what we've got. We're world champions, aren't we? Come on. Not only have we won World Superbike MotoGP, but for the first time in 18 years, we won a series championship in the U.S. on the Ducati Diavel V4. So this is going to be an incredible year because you know what? We have the biggest target on our back on the racetrack as well. And you know what that means is it's going to be a fun year of racing. But before I get into all the racing and everything else, we also will talk about what we're doing as a brand. Because you know, being a brand, it's not just having the best motorcycle form, but it's also what we do when we're off the motorcycles. It's gathering a community like we're doing here tonight. So we're going to share with you some of the things we did last year and then what we have planned for this next year. The first thing we're going to kick off with is Scrambler. And for those of you that don't know, the Scrambler brand started in 1962 as this brand that was designed and developed for the U.S. market. And the idea was, hey, we need a motorcycle that people can ride, whether they're riding on-road or off-road, and they wanted to mix these two styles together. And we relaunched the Scrambler brand quite a few years ago now, and it was time for us to unveil the next gen of the Scrambler, which we're going to discuss here tonight.
This is actually, Cassie, do you mind doing the pleasure? This is the new Scrambler Nightshift. And the beauty about the Scrambler is that it has a very classic design, yet it's very much a modern motorcycle. And in fact, a lot of the benefits and features, we've actually reduced the weight of this motorcycle by 9 pounds. And we've added a lot of technology that really adds to the ridership experience. And that includes traction control, cornering ABS, and actually different riding modes. Additionally, we shaved, like I said, we shaved the weight off of the motorcycle, and there's a couple different versions of the Scrambler. This being the Nightshift, has a little bit of a cafe racer style, but something that's really unique also about the Scrambler is the ability for you to be able to personalize the motorcycle. In fact, all of these panels that you see in this beautiful blue are removable, and you can exchange it with different colored panels to put on the motorcycle in order for you to give it a different look. Now the icon itself is the standard, and then with this one being a little bit more personalized already. So moving from the Scrambler family and all of the updates that have been done this year is to one of the most iconic motorcycles in Ducati history. And the Monster started off as a super bike, so one of our sports motorcycles, where we removed the bodywork and stripped it down to something that can be ridden in an urban environment. And Cassie, do you mind doing the honors? And this is the new Monster SP. The beauty about this next generation Monster is that we actually were able to reduce a significant amount of weight, so 40 pounds off of its predecessor than the previous Monster, but the SP stands for a special production unit. And this is a model that actually has upgraded suspension componentry, both front and rear with the Öhlins. And what this allows is obviously it allows for better handling and performance, whether it be a track or a city environment, but also increased ground clearance. So when you're leaning the motorcycle over really hard, you get the opportunity to be able to experience the full potential. And of course, the livery is stunningly beautiful, which has been inspired from our MotoGP livery that we have on the Desmosedici race bikes. So the new Monster SP is a very, very special bike for us this year, and a way for the Monster owners to have just that little bit extra more, that little edge that they would have over the standard Monster itself. Now moving from the world of Monster is a completely different world that we've actually launched in the early 2000s, which we'll show back over here. So this is one of my favorite models. This is the Multistrada family, and this is the newest generation of the Multistrada V4 Rally. And what makes this bike so cool is not only the fact that it's a great motorcycle for adventure riding, which a lot of motorcyclists, part of getting on a motorcycle is to get on the bike and disappear and go have that experience that maybe you couldn't have normally. But the Rally itself has some significant updates on the motorcycle as well. The Multistrada V4 has been a very, very successful bike for us, and the Rally actually builds off of that success and takes this into the next level of being able to have a motorcycle that you can really ride two up as a globetrotter. So imagine anywhere in the world that you would want to travel and take this motorcycle on that kind of adventure. We've increased the fuel capacity to add an additional 3 gallons to the gas tank. And what's really nice is that we've done that without widening the shape of the bike itself. And it's just done through actually changing the material to an aluminum tank. This is the first production motorcycle that was actually equipped with radar, the multistrada itself. So it has radar both front and rear, which allows you to have a dynamic cruise control option and also blind spot detection, which is a very nice safety feature. Some of the other updates that have been made to this motorcycle is that it has a much longer travel of suspension, so it can absorb a lot of the bumps that you have when you're taking it off-road. Additional ground clearance for obstacles that you'll be riding over. But very important, especially a motorcycle like this, is that you have great passenger comfort. It's important that if you're going to be riding with your passenger, you have the ability to give them something comfortable to be able to sit on. And there's a little bit more room that's back here for the passenger, and it gives them a chance to stretch out, along with more adjustments that have been set up to make it even more comfortable for that long distance riding. And one of the things that's really nice about this is that historically Ducatis in the early 2000s had very frequent routine services that were required. We've actually broke the mold with this motorcycle at 37,000 miles, which is actually a new benchmark in the world of motorcycling between valve inspections. Most people don't hit 37,000 miles on a motorcycle that they own, so this is really something that can inspire somebody to ride wherever they want and know that you're spending more time riding than you're keeping it maintained, which is a great opportunity as well. And if you think about this from a matter of performance, the bike has the soul of our MotoGP and our Superbike in it with the V4 motor, but really tuned in a package that allows somebody to ride comfortably long distance as well. I'm going to share with you a new model that actually we launched the original concept of it many years ago, and it's named the Diavel. It was originally powered by our twin motor that was very popular for many years, but we knew we needed to evolve the model not only in terms of its performance with the Gran Turismo V4 motor, but also in terms of the design. And the term Diavel is a word that comes from this idea of something very bold. When you say, Diavel, it's almost like saying, that's amazing, or I can't believe what I'm seeing with my eyes. And from a matter of design, it's also very unique. There's nothing really like it in the motorcycling world, because we've actually taken three elements of design and found a way to merge them together. One element is that very much like a Superbike with a very narrow pointy tail that comes out of the back here with this rear tire hanging out. The other one is this, we call it the bison back look of the gas tank and this massive weight in the front, which is similar to a standard naked motorcycle like the Monster. And then of course you've got this beautiful, we call it a fly line that comes through very much like a cruiser. So it's the idea of us having a muscle bike or a muscle motorcycle that has a bit of the attitude of a cruiser, but performs like a sport bike, which is unique in the entire motorcycling industry. And while many, since this bike has come out, have attempted to make their version of it, there's none of them that have stood up to the Diavel. And you can tell it's got these massive air intakes on the front, which is a beautiful design element as well, along with the running light on the front. And a very nice bit of attention to detail is on the back of the motorcycle and the tail lights. It's actually an array of LED lights that are underneath here that when you hit the rear brake on the motorcycle, they light up in order to give you a very unique look and feel on the back of the motorcycle, while keeping the rest of this very clean and clear. And of course, a very nice feature that I like as well is a clear delineation between this being a 4-cylinder and its predecessor, the twin, with this almost double-barreled shotgun, like two shotguns on top of each other exhaust. It's almost a bit cheeky and bold in order to be able to show that attitude that comes from a bike like this.
Some product electrified for the clients.
So we are utilizing the Moto E series as being the sole supplier to be able to have this as a rolling R&D lab. Because the reality is that when you build a motorcycle that actually is going to be worthy of wearing the Ducati badge, people have an expectation of what its performance and power and its range is going to be. Quite candidly, the battery technology hasn't developed to the point right now where you can get all three of those, and you end up, the challenge is mostly is that if you want range, you have weight. Range and performance, you have all this excess weight. In fact, the technology is such right now, if you took a motorcycle like the Panigale V2 and you wanted to deliver a similar level of performance, the motorcycle would have to weigh almost twice as much. So unfortunately, that means it's not going to handle correctly, and it's going to be a challenge overall. So our plans are to use that, the Moto E series, as an opportunity for us to be able to learn, develop technologies, and we've done a lot of very innovative things already. Instead of not using standard battery packs, developing our own battery systems, special motors and such, so that we can find ourselves further down the road for a product. There's no fixed time, because quite candidly, it's going to be largely based on when the battery technology will be there. But I also want to be really clear, there's a lot of enthusiasm about electric vehicles. And the reality is that the motorcycling market isn't prepared for it. While there are products that are out there, they really have very little commercial value right now. And while it's nice to have, they actually don't deliver the performance that people expect, especially for something like a Ducati. So we're actually not just looking at electrification, we're looking at other means of alternative energies to be able to reduce our carbon footprint. Because our objective is not to check the box of making an electric motorcycle. Our objective is to reduce our carbon footprint. And there are many ways to get there. Electrification is just one, but we know it's a very important thing for us to research, and this is why we're investing so heavily into the Moto E series.